For this Monday night. Thank you for being with us. I'm Brian Williams. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.
Be the first person to report breaking news, share eyewitness accounts, upload video, send pictures from your cell phone. First person on.
This week, the most anticipated game show of the year is here. Merv Griffin's Crosswords. Tomorrow at 4.
Oprah's bash for Obama in Santa Barbara. Then Britney's back. Her comeback performance at the VMAs. Sean backstage as Britney gets off the stage. Next, Access Hollywood.
Tonight at 7:30 on NBC4 HD.
Has anyone seen my whole grain Thomases?
No. Can you describe it?
They look like a classic Thomases. Nooks, crannies, only made with whole grains.
Yeah, I'm gonna need more to go on.
It was toasted, buttered, and sitting right there.
Looks like one of those mysteries we'll never solve.
Thomas's Hearty Grains, made with whole grains for heartier nooks and healthier crannies.
Told you he'd love whole grains.
Thomas's Hearty Grains English Muffins, heartier nooks, healthier crannies. Try our new great tasting, good for your heart oatmeal and honey flavor.
A major signal from Washington of help for sick Ground Zero workers. But even if this offer comes through, the benefits battle is far from a fair fight. A prostitution ring broken up in the suburbs, the dark and quiet home police say was transformed into a brothel, and a call for change, a new twist in the fight over cell phones in city schools.
Live from Studio 6B in Rockefeller Center, this is New York Nightly News with Chuck Scarborough.
Good evening. On the eve of the 6th anniversary of the September terror attacks, when so many died so suddenly, so violently, the movement to help those who still suffer has gained a powerful new ally. At City Hall today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi stood beside Mayor Bloomberg and declared that she would support the reopening of the September 11th Victims' Compensation Fund. That federal fund expired nearly 4 years ago. But since then, thousands who worked in the swirling dust and the toxic air of lower Manhattan say they've developed cancers and coughs and other conditions that threaten their health and livelihoods.
The situation that they are in now challenges the conscience of our country. They acted in good faith. They acted in good conscience. I don't think we have met that challenge.
How do you down the road assure that when people have more of a distance between then and the terrible event of 9/11, we still meet our obligations?
Now, the compensation battle has left thousands of Ground Zero workers feeling like second-class citizens, especially those who have no outside pensions or financial safety nets. Case in point, the couple you're about to meet, left struggling because of a cruel quirk of the calendar. Government Affairs reporter Melissa Russo has their story.
Tomorrow, September 11th, will not be the joyous occasion Donna Nolan once imagined as a young bride.
It will be my 20th wedding anniversary, but it's not, it doesn't have the same meaning.
Donna and her husband Jimmy are still in love and raising 4 sons. But when tragedy struck 6 anniversaries ago, Jimmy, an experienced carpenter and steel cutter, raced to the trade center to begin more than 2 years of recovery and rebuilding.
Burning steel, recovering bodies.
He says his work made him proud and sick.
I was never sick in my life.
Today, at age 42, Jimmy says his lungs are badly scarred and constantly infected. He takes 10 medications, and specialists still don't understand his mysterious blisters. He says he feels too winded to coach his kids' baseball, and it's getting harder to work.
I don't know if I'm going to be here next year. That's how I look at it.
I'm 42 years old, and I shouldn't be thinking that I'm going to be a widow. That's not fair. That's not what my life is supposed to be.
Jimmy has medical coverage, but his co-payments for specialists are growing as quickly as his own fear of death as he watches dozens of fellow tradesmen, big, brawny guys, wither.
It's hard, especially guys I worked with side by side on lung transplants. And we just buried one of the guys in my local, and his wife and kids. Who's going to feed them? I want to know who's going to pay my mortgage and feed my kids if I pass away next month or next year.
That's the question. And the harsh answer right now is no one. The truth is, not all 9/11 heroes are created equal. Unlike police and firefighters whose line of duty injuries come with disability pensions and death benefits for widows and children, construction workers don't have those benefits.
He was praised up and down and he was called a hero. But now that he's sick and we need that help, he's just a building tradesman.
6 years after the fact, people suffering with trade center illnesses say the benefits are still as random as the fate of who would live and die that day. Some get help, some don't. Some with health insurance pay more for care than uninsured workers or even undocumented immigrants who get free treatment from the city. Some people got big lump sum payments years ago for a cough, while others today get nothing for life-threatening illnesses. On September 11th, both Yvonne Sanchez and Marvin Bethea were EMTs. Both rushed to the scene. Both rescued people. Both got sick. Both had to quit. But because Yvonne worked for the city, she's collecting a disability pension and workers' compensation, earning as much as when she worked and sending her children to college.
If it wasn't for this job, I think we'd be living on welfare.
Because Marvin worked in a St. John's hospital ambulance, dispatched by the city but not technically a city ambulance, he's collecting workers' compensation for a fraction of what he used to earn.
$400 a week, when in fact I was making close to $95,000 a year.
In a nutshell, after 9/11, Congress gave the city a $1 billion insurance fund to pay claims against the city. While millions have been spent to defend against claims and lawsuits, not a penny of that money has been spent to compensate a sick person.
Insurance companies pay valid claims. These are 10,000 workers who were sick because of the violation of the labor law of the state of New York, not given a safe place to work.
But the mayor argues that the way this insurance fund was set up, he can't just start writing out checks. He says he's obligated to preserve that $1 billion in case people develop even more serious illnesses 10 or 20 years down the road. The alternative, which is what Speaker Pelosi endorsed this morning, is to take that $1 billion and instead use it as a down payment for another victims' compensation fund.
And why would that compensation fund be preferable to an insurance fund?
Well, the process wouldn't be as adversarial. For someone like Jimmy Nolan, the construction worker, in order to collect money, he would just have to make the case meeting some basic criteria that he could have gotten sick from September 11th. He wouldn't have to prove that it was the city's fault that he got sick. And as part of this deal, Mayor Bloomberg wants Congress to cap the city's liability.
And how many workers are actually suing the city over this?
We're told by David Warby, the lawyer that you just heard from, that the number's up to 10,000 clients. That's up 3,000 people since last year at this time. And it's not even clear, really, if $1 billion would cover all their claims. You take $1 billion, you divide it by 10,000 clients. There could be more. You get $100,000 a client. Arguably not enough.
All right, Melissa, thank you. And now a bit of business about tomorrow morning's 9/11 anniversary ceremony. We are expecting heavy rain, but the city says that event will go on, rain or shine. It's being held at Zuccotti Park, just a few blocks from Ground Zero. It officially begins at 8:40 in the morning. And this year, first responders will read the names of the 2,750 victims. And as always, there will be 4 moments of silence, marking the time each tower was struck and the time each tower fell. And if you're planning to attend the ceremony, or if you work in Lower Manhattan, the city asks that you take mass transit. Good idea. Also, an umbrella might be a good idea tomorrow. So what is on the minds of New Yorkers 6 years after that dark day in our city's history? We've conducted an exclusive poll along with Marist College each year since 9/11. And with me now is the director of the poll, Lee Miringoff. Lee, what are we learning this year?
Well, Chuck, on the positive side, people, there's a sense here that the city is back on its feet, but scars remain. Let's take a look at some of these numbers. 59% of New Yorkers think the city is as good or better than it was before the attacks. Some recovery there. Yet 47% feel their lives will never be the same, and 57% still worry the city could be the target of yet another terror attack.
Now, Lee, a lot of people I talk with say they're frustrated about the slow pace of rebuilding at Ground Zero. What's the poll tell you about that?
Well, what we see in these numbers are, people are losing patience with the pace of the rebuilding efforts. 55% think things are moving just too slowly. So clearly more work needs to be done in order to win over the public confidence and trust.
And there was a clear sense 6 years ago that the city's first responders weren't really prepared for the magnitude of that terror attack.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. New Yorkers don't feel the first responders were adequately prepared. 63%, as we take a look at these numbers, think they were not ready to handle handle the attacks then. 39% think they're not prepared today to handle a future attack. So we see some improvement in the numbers. Something still needs to be done.
Yeah, most people feel there's much more that has to be done
Absolutely.
to make the city fully prepared. All right, Lee,
Absolutely.
thank you very much for joining us tonight. And you can find all the results of the poll, including what New Yorkers feel about it, about Mayor Giuliani, Mayor Bloomberg on security, and on our website. That's all at WNBC.com. All right, we're learning tonight about a death threat against Mayor Bloomberg that led to a significant criminal investigation in the last few weeks. For a time, officials feared it might be terror-related, but those concerns were downplayed in recent days. Our Jonathan Neitz picks up the story from there.
News Channel 4 has learned security officials have been busy tracking a threat made against Mayor Bloomberg. Investigators tell us the threat was made by one man, a New Yorker who is a convert to Islam and who became known to police when he went to at least one mosque in Brooklyn seeking help in hatching a plot several weeks ago. Intelligence officers tracked the man for weeks, and they say they learned he also has a history of mental problems. They say he likely did not have the capability of making good on his threats. But for a time, those guarding the mayor put on notice, and this former Secret Service agent says, given the alleged threat, a large-scale investigation was likely initiated.
Especially if there's something credible about it, you go to that person's family, to their jobs, to their references, to their backgrounds.
A spokesman for the mayor and police department declined comment. It was back in March, a Rikers Island inmate was charged for allegedly making threats targeting the police commissioner. Law enforcement officials say while this case not as serious as they first feared, vigilance is important.
By the news reporting on these things, it makes people more aware, more vigilant.
When asked about when and if criminal charges might be filed, an NYPD spokesman said the department does not comment on threat investigations. This, as numerous investigators said, the mayor was not at any increased risk at any time. Jonathan Dietz, News Channel 4.
Neighbors knew something strange was going on, but nothing like this. Police uncover what they say was a house of prostitution on a quiet suburban street. When we come right back.
I need an ultrasound machine. I need 70 more rolls of paper.
Now, the card that helps you get what you need can help you get what you want. Apply for the American Express Business Gold Rewards card today, and you can get a free domestic round-trip airline ticket with your first purchase, so you can take that well-deserved trip anywhere in the U.S. Apply today, and we'll waive the fee for the first year. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN or visit open.com/free ticket to apply.
The safest accident is the one that never happens. The 2008 Lexus RX with 14 actively safe features. Learn more at activelysafe.com.
What a day for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy.